What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I know I've been gone for a little bit. I just been kind of on the busy side, but anyway, today I think I got something pretty cool. I was shooting this video actually yesterday, but I didn't like the way I was kind of doing the video and how I was routing the wires through the vehicle. So I was just like, you know what, let's take a break. And it's kind of cold, obviously. You can see my breath. It's like, I don't know, it's pretty cold outside. I got the heater going in the garage, but today we are going to be installing the Bluetti Charge 1 system into the vehicle. There is a few things that I wish they kind of did a little differently, and I wish they kind of thought about it, and it wouldn't be that hard of a fix. I'll explain to you that in a second. But if you don't know what the Bluetti Charge 1 system, it is basically a DC to DC charger for really any power station. You can really run this off of any power station, and this thing is cold because it is sitting out in the garage, but it can run off of any, or it can run or charge up any power station really out there on the market. About 99% of them. I think there's probably a couple that you can't really run them off of, but I think most of them you can actually run this off. There are other stations out there that you cannot do that. It's sole proprietary to whatever system that is, but Bluetti kind of thought outside the box, and you know, you don't need to have a Bluetti power station, so I can run my Bluetti off of this and then also charge up my my 1000 watt or my 500 watt power supply. And they do come with, Bluetti does come with the standard solar panel adapters, so you can actually just charge it right off of the solar panel chargers if you want. So it's pretty nice. It's pretty universal. If you're not running your vehicle, you can unplug it, and you can also use your solar panel, because this is the cabling that's actually going to be connected into your Bluetti. Power 1 station, there's some wires that come with it, basically the male end of these, and then this goes into your power station or whatnot. So it is nice that they thought about that. So most power stations nowadays have that yellow port. So why the Bluetti system, a Charge 1? So your standard 12 volt or your 110 plug in your Jeep, or most rigs nowadays, only charge up to about 150 watts. So it's kind of slow, you know, so you're only getting so many. If you're on like a 10-hour trip or so, yeah, you're just going to charge up. It's just going to take a little bit longer. But if you're doing like short burst trips, like you're going from spot to spot, but you're maybe only traveling maybe a few hours here, setting up camp, and you're not going to want your vehicle running, you know, while you're just chilling at, you know, at camp, wasting gas and stuff like that. This right here, first, your vehicle's, you know, 150 watt power supply, or if you're using a cigarette lighter in the back or in the front, I believe those are only like maybe 100 watts, so you're not really getting anything really out of them. This is charging at 560, so you're almost 6 times the wattage, so it's going to really help charge up your power station. So if you guys are like me, you're running, you know, you could be running your your diesel heaters off of this. You can be running your Starlink off of it. You know, if you have any, I don't know, if you're running a blender or something like that off your power stations, you're going to want to keep that thing charged up pretty well. So this is going to help with that system. So like I said, this is a DC to DC conversion. It is really technically like running off your alternator. It is technically running off your alternator, where your alternator is going to have a high output. This is going to take the high output and bring it down to a low output, so it's going to really help maintain it. But there's one thing I do think that Bluetti kind of messed up on. Let's walk over here for a second. So right now, I have my wiring kind of routed through, and I'm kind of not liking where this thing is actually kind of located at. I may leave it for now, but we'll see. But for this video, I'm probably just going to leave it. If not, I'm going to reroute it kind of along the inner part of the center console. But anyway, this thing right here, which is technically, so this box right here, this is, you know, basically a big fuse box right here. So if something were to happen, you know, it's going to go pop, kind of just like a house. You're just going to go reset it, and then bam, there you go. But where they should have put this is actually inside the engine bay. So that's what they should have had that closer to the battery, because now if that thing goes pop inside, it's still a live wire from here all the way to that fuse. And I think that's kind of where they messed up at. So what I am going to do is probably order off like a 60 watt or a 60 amp fuse breaker, and I'm going to put it up front. Unfortunately on this video I don't have it, but I definitely think that's where they messed up at, because you don't want just a hot wire running through your vehicle, and because that can cause a fire. Now, is that really going to happen? I would say 90%, 99.99%, you're not going to just cause a fire because of that. Something else has to happen. You have to, you know, break through the tubing, make a spark, and, you know, whatever else may happen. But I definitely think that is for a safety concern that, you know, I feel more comfortable rather having it pop here versus popping inside the vehicle. It doesn't hurt to have two fuses at all, so that's just kind of like double security. But yeah, closer to your battery to put the fuse, the better. I think that's where they 100% went wrong. So I'm going to get this kind of wired up. I'm not really going to do too much of a video on it, because this can be different in every application. Because you may not have a 2-door, you may have a 4-door, you may have a truck, you may have a van where you're watching this. But I definitely think if you guys are running this in any of your vehicles, put a fuse by the wire, or I should say put a breaker by closer to the battery as possible, or wherever you're running it, even if it's like a backup battery. So highly recommend that. So let's get this thing kind of all set up, and then we are going to test it. So we'll see what kind of power. I do have my 2,000 watt power Yeti box in the back. It was sitting overnight, so we're going to see how long, or see how much it would actually charge up. So I definitely think that is going to be worth it. So let's just jump into it. So like I said, it does come with a cabling that comes in for the back side or the front side, whatever way you want to look at it. You know, this is for the bigger side. It's going to be for the cabling for the wires that you are running from your battery to inside your vehicle. Then there is the smaller hole diameter, which is for this plug that also comes with it. It is, I mean, obviously you got your positive, negative, but then it also comes with your standard solar panel plugs. So like I said, I can technically run my solar panel from my lens sun solar panel from my hood, and I can connect it to my battery, or not my battery, my solar my power station, and, you know, help charge up my my box. I wouldn't connect this up to my solar panel. I would connect the wires that it came with, which is, you know, here, that you're going to connect into your power supply, and, you know, so I can keep it still running from inside the vehicle. So I just want to kind of show you guys how to go about installing this. It's actually very simple. You're just using the supplied Allen key that it comes with, which is here, and then you just have your little flap right here, and then you're just basically undoing it and doing negative to negative, positive to positive. So it should be just like that. Pretty simple. And then you guys can close up your little hatch doors. And then we are gonna take the ones inside the vehicle, and we are going to connect it into here. Same thing, open up your door. Yeah, pretty simple. Got something for you guys. No, this is not a paid sponsorship or anything like that, but these energy drinks are amazing. These little Grizzly cream soda drinks. I saw it on TikTok once, or whatever I saw it on, and I was like, ooh, those sound really tasty. Ordered them up, absolutely amazing. So Amazon, I think they're $20 for a case. So for time's sakes, For you guys, I'm not going to just do a whole install video because it's literally connecting the red and black wires up to the battery and then running to its location. So if you guys have a two-door, I kind of ran mine right through the firewall down to the front, and I'm literally going to probably pop off the trim pieces. But that's how I have it right now, but I think I'm going to end up changing it. So just for, like I said, time's sake of the video, I'm not really going to do that part. So I am going to do a comparison between the 10 volt or the 110 volt and versus the Blue Yeti Charge 1 system. See how much we actually get out of it. Right now my battery on the 2000 watt Yeti Blue is at 0. So let's just see what it's like. First off, we just got to connect the battery. So right now we're not getting anything off of here, but let's plug in. So it may be so cold right now that it's not even charging this thing right now. So let's try this. Let's disconnect this. And then let's try plugging in through the DC to DC cable. So right now I am reading all zeros across board on both the 110 outlet and the Charger 1. I don't know if it's because that I left this outside in my Jeep to finish up this video and it was already at 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this inside, let this thing kind of warm up, plug it into the wall, kind of actually get a couple percent on here, maybe get it up to like 15%, and come back out here and we'll kind of do the test to see if we can see any differences. So I will say one thing, I had to bring my Blue Yeti inside to actually get a quick little charge because apparently something on the inside wasn't working. So on the inside, plugged into the outlet, this has been slowly been going up. We're pulling about 498 watts, and of course this is saying it's going to take roughly about 4.2 hours to fully charge from 0 to 100, and this has been slowly going up. I know you go on the app and you can actually kind of change this up a little bit because supposedly this thing should be able to pull about 1800 watts from the house, but it's been kind of slowly but surely. But I do have it kind of probably on an eco mode or something like that, I think, but not too bad. But just kind of wanted to show that. So now I'm gonna let this get up to about 20% or so, and then we're gonna go back outside to the Jeep, and then we're gonna plug in the Yeti into the Jeep, into the 110 outlet, and then we're gonna try out the Charge 1 plug to see what kind of wattage we're actually getting out of it. So kind of curious. So we're at 16. Catch you guys outside. So the one thing that I can actually say is probably because I'm not moving, I'm not getting enough power to actually run the converter over to, so it doesn't just drain out the battery or kill out the motor, which there's probably a little bit of a protection in there. So it says on there it pulls about 150, so let's just say about 100, 110. So let's plug in the solar panel thing from the Charge 1 and see what this thing gives us. So just kicked on, it's turning, so we're already going up. So I'm thinking it's because I'm at an idle and it's not really charging up the system. I'm pulling 219 watts, so that's probably the reason why the other one is not charging it, because I'm at idle, which actually makes some sense to me. So just sitting still, I'm pulling, 219 if you're out driving around on guarantee. So that is the Yeti. I did forget to show you guys. It does come with some like a little back plate where you can lock down in some screws. But yeah, that's the Charge 1 from Yeti, Blue Yeti. I'm really happy with it, and I definitely think it will do me very well, especially when we are going from camp to camp to camp, and they may only be short burst runs. At least now it will charge a lot faster than just using the standard 110 plug that's in there. I definitely think, like a lot of other people that have said, kind of reviewing this product, they definitely should, kind of revamp their wiring system a little bit. You do get 16 feet of it, but they could have put the fuse closer to the battery versus, you running it basically to where it's going to be located at. So you're not running a hot wire throughout the vehicle, and just for safety reasons, that worst case scenario, if you pinch or if you're cutting something for some reason, whatever, and you slice that wire, that's going to be a hot wire. You don't want that. That would not be very good. So yeah, that's the Blue Yeti, and again, I'm pretty happy with it. The only time we'll tell, maybe in a few months we'll do another, maybe an overview of it after actually having some time, actually running it. Like I said, I wasn't really doing a whole install video of it just because your rig's going to be a lot different than my rig. So again, thank you for watching. Hope you guys have a happy new year. And we have a lot already in store for 2026. I know this year has been kind of up and down ride because I've been posting a whole bunch and then I'll kind of be missing for a month. So, but next year is going to be a fun year. So greatly appreciate every single one of you guys. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.